Will shared our stream. What's up? That was kind of fitting too, huh? With the zombie on this one.
Yeah.
Freaked me out. But welcome to the Spoiler Kings. My name is Tankcramer, and I am with Will, Peppa MD. How you doing, man? How's your Halloween?
Oh, it was great. It was great, man. I got with some of my son's friends from school, with their parents as well. We kind of all collabed and met up together in Bucktown, Chicago, Illinois. And so it was real fun. We got to spend a good 3-4 hours out in the cold. Getting candy. Man, some of the parents were cool, man. They were like, so they, because of Rona, right? They kind of continue on with some of the newer trends where pretty much instead of handing candy off to the kid, instead they would have a chute from like the top of their stairs down the rail, and then at the bottom of the chute is where the kids are. They can just catch it with their bag or whatever they want, their hand. You seen that, right? I'm sure.
Yeah, I seen. Actually, that was one of the things I bought today was just to have it at Target. They had it on sale for like half off. I'm like, $5. That's a pretty good deal. So, and they called the loot chute. Yeah, I think I saw some of your Instagram videos of that. That looked pretty fun. There was a lot of cool stuff too going on in your trick or treating videos. I saw. I was gonna ask you where that was.
It was in Bucktown, near Wicker Park, kind of almost same area. A lot of nice houses. They got a lot of money. And one of the shoots, they were so cool. The parents, they were like, "Hey, do you want a beer?" I'm like, "Yeah." Something for the parents, you know.
Did they just pour it down the chute and you're at the bottom, like with your mouth open?
No. I probably would have did it too, because that's a cool thing to do. But no, they just shot it through the chute. It was nice and skinny. They gave me like a Corona something, I don't know, but it's pretty nice.
I'm pretty sure there's a good chance that's illegal, but who gives a shit?
We were both consenting adults. Yeah. There you go.
Yeah, I mean, I guess right, because he didn't sell it to you. He gave it.
He didn't sell it. That was a free gift. Two friends.
Yeah. Well, no, it's in Chicago, so everything's illegal or taxed.
Right, taxed like a mother. Yeah, you know, man.
But that's pretty cool. Yeah, I'm out here in the burbs, man, and we just got a bunch of kids in the day. So yeah, it was cool. I mean, they give like a little set time frame of whenever where trick or treating is, and that's a decent amount of people.
So you got like whatchamacallit, like a curfew. The time you got to be in by.
Yeah, usually like they tell you. I think for us it was 3 to 7. Was trick or treating.
Okay.
And that's usually fair. For the most part, everyone's pretty good. After 7, I think we got like one set of like teenagers, So, and I had a bunch of candy left, so I'm like, here you go. They got a nice little extra candy at the end, but that's awesome, man. That was good.
Right.
That was good. Was your son Sonic?
Yeah,
I saw Sonic running around. What was he?
My son was Sonic the Hedgehog. He had on the whole getup. We even bought like extra accessories that he didn't really need or came with his costume, like some white gloves. So he was all like Sonic'd out. We were this close to getting some red shoes, but whatever.
That would be cool.
His feet keep growing, and so we don't want to do it for just one thing. Maybe. Yeah. We were looking for like clearance. We're gonna buy it instantly if it was on clearance. But
yeah, right. Otherwise, you just spray paint some cheap shoes from the dollar store. Like go get some secondhand stuff and spray paint.
Definitely.
All right, man. But so we're reviewing The Last Night in Soho. I had no idea what this movie was until I gave a list. I'm like, here's the 3 big movies. I don't know what any of them are, except for the cartoon one. And then you're like, what about this one? I'm like, sounds cool. So we wind up watching it. And I told my girlfriend we were watching, what we're reviewing. She was, I want to see that. And usually she was kind of like iffy on some of the movies we decided to watch, but this one she was like pretty excited about it. So, I'm like, okay. So we wind up watching that, together. So, but this one is not in HBO Max.
Nah, I'd see this one in theater. Yeah, made a trip out to Norwich. Went to one of my favorite spots just so I could enjoy it in peace. That's all I want. I mean, I didn't really see too many kids seeing this one. This is kind of a very special demographic that is really open to all people because it's got some nice little jump scares, but for the most part, I feel like it's catered to a certain group. I don't know.
Yeah, it was definitely, I think, an adult scary movie. I think.
Yeah, definitely for adults. I don't see too many kids wanting to see this.
Yeah, no, I don't see that. But you want to watch the trailer and talk about the little breakdown of the movie?
Oh, definitely.
All right. I'll say the travel kind of thing. I thought that was really interesting. It's like it takes a while to get used to. I don't know how if you felt about that. It was like you're like, wait, who's who? Who's who? And then she dyes her hair. And then I'm like, and then it really, because there's times she's mostly being Sandy, which is played by Anna. What was it? What's her name? Anya Taylor-Joy.
Yeah, there you go.
So they're kind of like the same person. So that's Sandy, and yeah, she kind of like sometimes she is her, or sometimes she's watching her.
Yeah,
you know, it was a really weird kind of like thing, like in and out of it. But I thought it was really like cool, like a medium almost. That's what it felt like. You know, it was like what like being watching it and then sometimes being in it. So I thought that was like cool thing. Also, Edgar Wright directed this. So I don't know if you know, Edgar Wright did probably the biggest one that everybody knows is Scott Pilgrim. He directed that. He also wrote and was supposed to direct the first Ant-Man. And then him and Kevin Feige had some differences, and Edgar Wright, pulled away from the project, which is really disappointing. But you can still see a lot of Edgar Wright in that movie. He has a very certain. He likes using music, obviously. In this one, that's no difference. Music is a big thing in this one. So
sets the mood, and if you do it the right way, like this movie, you're gonna definitely get your feeling across. You're gonna get some goosebumps out of this. Definitely some string pullers in this one.
Yeah. I usually don't like the Anna Taylor-Joy. I don't know. I was not a big fan of her.
No,
but this one, I think she was pretty well. She was in the Queen's Gambit. I think that's the one that obviously made her, big. Emma, she was big in Emma. She was in the New Mutants. That didn't do too well. But she was in Split, Glass, stuff like that. But definitely,
she was in Split. Okay,
yeah, she was one of the girls. I think in Split. I forgot which one.
I think she was the main one that would talk to Patricia and whatnot. Thank you, Lollies. Appreciate that.
Yeah, probably. But Queen's Gambit is the one that kind of that one and Emma are the two that really popped her off in 2020. I guess she was in Mad Max, or she's going to be in the Mad Max.
She's going to be.
I think they have her credited as Furiosa in 2024. So I don't know.
Oh, okay.
But that's on her IMDb. But yeah. I was just never kind of like about her. Like, I know she's gonna be Princess Peach, in the voice of Princess Peach in that Mario.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I don't know.
That whole cast is just whole box of magic coming out of there.
Yeah. You gotta go see the memes. The memes on it are hilarious. But we're definitely gonna review that one when that one comes out. But yeah, this one, I think I didn't mind her in this one. It was a cool kind of like arc. She had a really good arc. I was thinking of like a good word for it, but how she went from being this like very confident newbie to how she ended. It was like and then I don't know. Well, here before. So what are some things that you liked about the movie? Because I know we're already kind of like talking about what we like in this, but let's officially give it.
Okay, so going straight to the nitty gritty likes that really drew me to this movie, right? If anything, was the time travel. So you got different, like you kind of how you already said, you got different perspectives. You got first person view. You got like a third person, and then you got almost like a fourth person where you're not even involved. To the point where even what's her name, Eloise, tried to like bang on and stop Sandy from doing something, and she couldn't because it was like an imaginary, invisible wall. So it was really cool to see that perspective change and go from in and out, and all these camera angles were also like really really cool of how they captured that. I like the character choice, and I really felt for the women in here. So the movie's based in the 1960s, where sexual assault was just the norm, and that's so
Yeah.
bad. And I'm so glad we're getting more progressively better from that state that we've been in for such a long time. Women are some of the greatest individuals to do greatest things, and they're always getting the handicapped of not being set as equals. And in here, it kind of just shows that off too. But she does overcome. I will say that Sandy does overcome, you know, later in the movie, right? One last thing that I really really liked was the kind of whole like the movie kind of gave off this vibe where you feel like everything was gaining in on you, and like kind of like your background displays it perfectly. That's one of the things I liked was the freaking Slenderman looking dudes, right? Like all
Yeah.
the guys
Yeah.
of creeps past, if you will. They would like haunt this home where so many of events were held and whatnot, and like these guys were creeps, like total creeps. Like, look at them, they look
Yeah.
just creepy, and in more ways than one. And so I like how it gave off that vibe of like almost like claustrophobia. And every time they were in the scenes, I was like, ooh, like it gave me shivers down my spine. So I was like,
Yeah.
oh, that's pretty cool. But yeah, what'd you like about the movie?
Yeah. I agree with you with the camera angles and stuff like that. The creepy vibes were really well done. I didn't expect this to be like a scary movie. And
Me neither.
it did the scary movie stuff really well. Really, I gotta admit, really well. Um, this whole movie just like, kind of caught me off guard on what it was gonna be. Um, I thought it was just gonna be like a murder mystery kind of thing, and it became so much more than just that. Um, but the creepy dudes, all the assholes were kind of like you wanted to hate them,
Yeah,
and then like
yeah.
you felt for Sandy, the whole time. So like that was like you had like a connection. I know that sounds like silly, but it's like when you're able to connect with the characters in the movie, either like hate them, or like love them. But if you just feel indifferent about it, you're like, whatever, then it's like you didn't do it right. But with these, it's like the guys you hated, the girls you wanted to cheer for, so Sandy goes through this like really dark place, and she starts to realize like where she is. And when she goes through like the back room area and sees all the other women being like mistreated and being used, and all those issues, it kind of like sums up of like oh yeah, it's like this isn't what you thought this was going to be. She thought she was going to become a star and a singer and a dancer, and she just got like super taken advantage of, which is super like telling of that time in the 60s. Like, yeah, like, guys are assholes. I mean, not much has changed too much, but yeah, it's still like super shitty to see that, where like you just take advantage of somebody who is looking for their dream, and I think the age difference kind of played a big thing for me, because Sandy, played by Anna Taylor Joy, I believe she's 25-ish. And Matt Smith, Jack, who Doctor Who, one of the Doctor Who's,
Yeah.
he's like 39. So there's a pretty decent age difference in it. And then obviously all these dudes here, they're not anything younger than 40,
Yeah.
So you had like a lot of like these old businessmen that were like assholes, and then it said in the 1960s in London, it was like yeah, like some of these guys are big creepos. But yeah, I just liked how Edgar Wright like was able to like make you feel it, you know, and you really get invested into it, you know, even with Ellie, with Eloise, you know, where she's she's kind of like in it for the ride, so she's seeing things and trying to stop things, and it's just not, and you can see her like trying to become like more confident because Sandy's more confident, but then as everything starts to happen, she starts to freak out, and oh man, like yeah, it was bonkers all the way until the end. Even the end, I wasn't quite sure because like there's an old man that you're like, oh, I know who that is. I think he did this, and then like I didn't expect that, and you're like, oh, she's that and she's that, and some good twists in it, really good twists. You know, I don't want to like ruin the ending and who's who, but it was really good misdirection by Edgar Wright, because I thought certain people were other people, and it was pretty good, man. It was pretty good on how he did that. Usually, I can guess who's who and what's what and figure it all out. This one had some good twists at the very end. Unlike Malignant, if you remember Malignant, that twist at the end was very very campy and stupid. This twist was very well done, very good. It catches you.
What's the phrase? Out of left field, like it really got you off guard. Just like, oh, like it went there. It went there. Okay, I see. Yeah. It definitely took me by surprise for sure.
Yeah, this one did too. It kind of came out of left field, but it was more like a good thing though. You're like, oh man, what? You know, where the last time you're like kind of laughing. This one I was like kind of like caught off guard.
My mouth dropped a couple times where I'm like, really? That's and I was shook. I was shooketh. For real.
Yeah. And for me, it's like when I'm sitting in the chair and I like readjust to get like more focus. I was like, that's how I know I'm like, oh, I'm into it. I'm not just like leaning back and chilling. Like I'm like I want to know what's going on. But I thought that was really good. What about some? I'm trying to think of any really good thing. The pacing was good. It was a 2-hour movie, and I thought that was a perfect amount for it. I think if they try to do 2.5 hours, it maybe would have dragged it out a little bit too much.
I agree 100%.
But I think the time was pretty good. Any other good stuff before we get into some of the bad?
I really like the support character of John, played by Michael Ajao. I was wondering if he was ever going to visit the 1960s world himself, but he never really did. And if he did, I was wondering if he was going to get treated as bad of being a woman in the 1960s. I wonder if he was going to be treated like bad racially, and I'm glad they didn't show it. I'm glad they didn't go there, because it didn't need to tell any story like that. I'm glad that he wasn't like the token person to the token person to like, you know, be thrown to the side and you don't care for him. Like, no, I actually did care for him and I was invested. So kudos to him for making me, you know, care about you enough. You know, did a great acting job for sure.
Yeah, I was me and my girlfriend were both like, are they gonna kill the only black man in this film?
For real?
Almost, but no. So I'm like, come on, Edgar Wright. But yeah, they didn't though. But no, he was really good. John was a super cool character.
Right. That's about it for me.
Yeah. So what about some of the bad stuff? What are some of the things you didn't like about this one?
Some of the bad things, where someone like me, right? I've never been diagnosed. I'm gonna keep saying this. I know I should go to the freaking doctor. Listen, my insurance is gonna kick in any second now. Okay, when it does, I will go to the doctor. I'll finally get diagnosed, and then we can finally put this to bed. Like my son, which is he in bed? They do in bed? Okay, well he's gonna go to bed soon. We're gonna be putting both those things and people's to bed. Yeah. But
Brian said, I thought that was about to happen, which I'm assuming he's like, is John the only black character? Was he gonna die? I'm assuming that's what he was gonna. They were
Man, they
close.
better
They were
not.
they were
They
close.
better
Right at
not.
the end, I was like, "You son of a bitch!" Yeah, but yeah.
But yeah. What was the question, real quick?
Yeah, you're saying getting diagnosed.
Oh yeah, yeah, with ADD.
Yeah.
The thing that I guess I would dislike, and it's not really the movie's fault. It's just the pacing was really good, but sometimes they'd go back and forth in time, and twisting back and forth can kind of throw you for a little ride. And sometimes I wasn't ready for that ride. Possibly having ADD is what I was trying to get to the
Yeah, I can see
trying to get
that.
to.
I can see it.
Uh,
Even changing the
mhm.
faces, because there's sometimes it's Sandy, and sometimes it's still Sandy, but it's the body of Ellie, and
Yeah.
they'll switch it back and forth on like who's in the mirror and who's the actual person standing there. I can see that was it feels very disorienting. I can see, especially if you have like attention problems, you're like, who, what? It's like, yeah, that could be much.
I feel like it was almost like a very evil Hannah Montana movie. That's what I got from this.
That's
Wig, no
funny.
wig. Like yeah, I swear
Yeah,
that's what I got from this. It was like a very deep, Hannah Montana UK edition like type movie. I
yeah,
swear it was.
that's funny. Yeah, I can see something like that. Anything else?
That I disliked. No. I disliked the ending, but not because it was a bad ending. I just, when your favorite characters or characters that you would have like felt for or like you were sympathetic for or empathetic for,
Mm,
when they die, you're like, no, and then you try to reach for them and it's just and it kind of makes you sad. And so
yeah,
a character that I was really rooting for, that I thought I knew, like kind of how you said it, you thought you knew what
uh,
was what, and then when you finally find out what's what at the end, then you get sad, or I did at least. I was like, damn, that sucks.
I had mixed emotions about that though, because like
Yeah.
you're like, yeah, you're rooting for her, and then you find out everything, then you're like, I guess, but also, yeah. So yeah, I can totally get that. Where like you're like, oh, why? Well, okay, I can see why, but still, why?
Yeah.
That type
Right.
of thing. Yeah,
What about you?
yeah.
What were some of the things that kind of popped out at you that rubbed you the wrong way?
The big, I see why they did a scene, like a very important scene, a certain way. Um,
Mm.
Ellie tries to bring back John to the bedroom, um, and the landlord, Mrs. Collins, said no boys after 8. Yeah, whatever. So she brings them back. There's Halloween, which is also another great thing. Is like this is a perfect Halloween movie. I think like it was set right around
Yes.
Halloween.
Hmm.
Um, it's scary. It was like it's a good Halloween film. Like I think it was a good time to release this kind of movie was during this weekend.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they're in there, and she has her visions with Sandy, and there's a big part in it where somebody dies, and I don't want to say who, but she thinks she sees one person die, and the way they do it all was kind of like at the end of the movie, you're like, oh, and that was the only thing like in that scene. But I'm like, wait, but she saw this, but it didn't happen. So what did she see? I just feel like they could have shot it better. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Like they should have made it where she thought this person died or thought this person died,
Mhm.
but she didn't see it, so she's just assuming things would have
Okay.
happened. Like if John, like, because they're freaking out, they're about to get busy, and then she starts having her visions, and so she's screaming and freaking out, and John's got no pants on, so he's like putting his pants back on. It's like he should have had her going over there and like shaking her and blocking her vision, so she couldn't
Mm.
quite see what was going on. I think that would have made it um more like uncertain. She's like, oh
Mm.
no, this happened, but it's like, you didn't really see it, so you think that happened because of everything. That's the only part of me is like that gets it. And we'll talk about spoilers in a little bit. Um,
Okay.
but yeah, I was like, I think if they would have done that, I think if John would have blocked her vision, it would have made the audience more like, oh, it's like if you saw this and now later you find out that that's not like how it went down, you're like, yeah, but she saw that. That's what she saw.
Yeah.
So now you're like, you're doing metaphors and you're like not literal, metaphorical, and like all that. It was like kind of like I'm like, oh, okay. That was the only really thing that was kind of throwing me off with the whole movie. It was like, but she saw that. It was like she literally was like right next to it and saw it. Like
Right.
now
No.
you're saying it didn't happen. You know, it was like, you know, but I mean, the only thing it would be like metaphor, you know, for something else kind of thing. We'll get into.
To me,
Yeah.
it seemed like a consistency issue. That's all it was for me, because like it was consistent all the way up until that point, and then it stopped being. You know, the mechanics kind of changed, and you're like, what? But it's okay. It didn't ruin the movie for me. It didn't like make me
Same.
be put in a state of disbelief for the movie, or be like, oh no, that couldn't have happened. But it was just, I could definitely seeing something that they can work on, especially with you doing like some kind of camera angles and truly showing like how you said, like a matter of perspective. Like imagine someone's in the way of the camera, and then a person on this side sees this thing going on. But if you're on the other side, and let's say they switch the point of perspective, and then you see what's actually going on, I'm like, oh, that would have made it more believable, or something.
Yeah.
It would have just made the movie just flow just that much better.
Yeah, because then I get why they did it, because it sets you up for the big ending, you know, kind of thing that happens later. But it was also like, but it should not have been a definite thing. It should have been something that she just, you know, suspected and not actually witnessed. You know, that was the only thing that I saw. But besides that, I mean, but like you said, that didn't like get me out of the movie. I was still like very much invested in everything in it.
Right.
Besides that, I like the ending. I thought it was very fitting. I mean, sometimes it's the ending that you don't like, but sometimes it's the ending that the movie needs.
Oh, you know? Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
You know, like for me, like, and I will fight people so much for this. In Hunger Games, the movie Hunger Games,
yeah,
she should have died at the end. She should have died at the end. Her doing all the shit she did, you know, it's like, yeah, but she loved him. I'm like, she kind of loved him. She was all about her family and herself. You know, I was like, she was like, I'm like, she should have died. She should have died. And that would have made a better movie, I think. But because the audience, it was made for young adults, like, you know, so like teenage girls kind of thing. You can't kill her. You just can't. You know, it's not gonna happen. You know. So, but in this movie, it's not made for adults. So, like how you were saying, like you're kind of rooting for somebody, but then you're also like, yeah, but I get it. You know, that was stuff like that. You know, the same thing like with like Matrix for me. It was like, yeah, Neo should have died because he's the savior. You know what I mean? Same thing. Like, you know, Katniss is the savior. She needs to die for everyone else to be happy, type of stuff.
For sure.
So yeah.
Good night.
Yeah.
Little man going sleepy time.
Going to bed.
Yep.
It's gonna be me in about 30 minutes.
Same.
That was a tired one. But so real quick, so I'm gonna bring this up. We're here. We're gonna talk all about spoilers. Because there are some things I wanted to ask you about. And you already kind of brought up was the ending. So if you haven't watched it yet, we're gonna fully spoil everything right now. But
spoiler time.
So you find out who Miss Collins is, and it's right at the very end, which was when the movie was like peak, like it built up and it built up to that point, and by then you're fully invested, and you find out Miss Collins is Sandy, and Sandy killed all these dudes. All these dudes are like, luckily I found a picture on Google with this, but all these dudes were like prostituting Sandy, so you know they paid for her for the night kind of thing. So they're all kind of like assholes, you know. They all like degraded her and stuff like that. But she kills all of these guys and just kills like everybody, and then she buries them in the freaking walls, man. What? That got me. I'm like, oh, they're still in the house.
Hold on, is this Edgar Wright or Edgar Allan Poe? Nah,
seriously, dude.
I swear, man, that was deep and dark. Really,
that was super dark. And then like Ellie decides that she's gonna find, you know, she finds out, and she kind of like that was another thing too. She drank the tea. I was like, don't drink the tea. You
Oh,
already drank the alcohol from the
trust
person who
people.
hates you. I thought she was gonna get like Molly or roofied by her. Luckily, that didn't
Same.
happen. But then
Yeah.
she gets poisoned by this old this old lady who was played by one of the Diana Rigg, who, if you ever
Yes.
seen Game of Thrones,
Oh, okay. No,
she's
I never seen it.
oh god, she
I
played
know.
one of the coolest freaking parts. She played one of the
Oh,
coolest
yeah.
parts. Is right before she dies, she's like, "Oh, tell her it was me." And then she like dies, and it was like it's one of the
Damn.
best parts in the entire series. So like she knows she's gonna die, and she plays such a bad ass,
Mm.
like old like woman. And this one is this is her this is unfortunately her last movie she did before she
Oh,
passed away.
rest in peace.
And I gotta say she really nailed this one. She played like uh a vengeful, spiteful, younger woman who got taken advantage of, and now
Right.
she's older, and very, very vengeful.
Very much
So
over everybody's shit, for
over
sure.
men shit for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, she was awesome in this one, and I was just kind of upset like she was gonna kill Ellie. I was like, But going back to to what we were upset about was she almost killed John. She stabbed him. I was like,
Woo.
what? And luckily he didn't die though. But yeah, but any like spoiler parts in the movie? We're doing this real quick.
I was so happy that seeing the old guy, because I got such creepy vibes from the old guy that kept like following Eloise or Ellie. And I kept thinking that he was Jack.
Yeah.
I was like, man, he kind of even resembled him in some ways, and they kind of got certain angles where they were facing the same way. And I was like, could that be Jack? Did he survive all these years and he killed Sandy? I was thinking that for like a big majority of the movie, or a big majority of the climax, which was a lot of the movie. And so I was like, man. And so homie gets hurt, right? In the movie. I don't think he dies, but he gets really badly hurt. And when he gets hurt,
he dies.
He dies? Oh, he did get
the old man. Yeah, he gets hit by a car.
Oh yeah. Well, he was bloodied up. Did he actually like they showed him like?
I think they did because they put like the blanket
bag
over his head.
Oh, there you go. There it is. That's all she wrote. Well, anyways, since he died, how do you say it? Like they ended up, a big spoiler was like, oh no, that's not Jack. That's a long time, policeman, that or police officer from the forest from so long ago. He's a hero. I'm like, oh snap.
Yeah. Then you start putting it together.
I was hating a dude for no reason. I was like, oh man, I felt guilty. That was a crazy little spoiler right there for sure.
Yeah. Well, it flashes back too, which is what I like, because then they don't expect you to remember, but they flash back because when there's all these like guys that were trying to hit on her, there's him younger. And he was like, he's like, what's your name? He's like, oh, blah, blah, blah. He was like, no, what's your real name? And he's like, whatever. And he's like, oh, you're some kind of cop. And he was telling Sandy when she was younger, like, get out of this. This isn't for you. You don't deserve this. Stop it. And I guess he was working the red light district, which now we find out it was a red light district. So it was a bunch of brothel and prostitution and stuff like that. But yeah, the whole time you're like, that's Jack. He's a piece of shit. And you find out it was like, oh, he was the only dude that was like being good. He's like, get out of this stuff. Get out of it. Stop doing it. And then the whole speech he gave before though I thought was epic. He's like, oh, he goes, you think Sandy's great? Go ask Alex. Alex killed Sandy. I'm like, who the fuck is Alex? So now it's like it throws in other shit, and the whole time, because then they said that in the beginning, because remember when Jack asked her, he goes, he goes, oh, Sandy's short for something, and she goes, oh, Alexandra, which I don't get where you get Sandy from Alexandra, but okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I can remember, like I can like Cassandra, I can see that, but like Alexandra is like, oh, okay, I guess.
Sandy ass. It's a reach. It's a little bit of a reach.
Yeah, but whatever. But yeah, so then you kind of forget about that, but it plays into it later. You start seeing Alexander Collins, or Alexandra Collins in there. Oh man, that ending was like super epic. And then you find out like that the cop didn't turn in Sandy. Like he let Sandy go, even though he knew. I was like, then by
Yeah.
the end, you find out, I was like, oh, he knew what she
Mm,
did, and he
yeah.
knew. He's like, all right, fine. You gotta live with this,
Yeah.
but you kind of, you know, you deserve getting your revenge. So he kind of like was cool with it. That's why I was kind of
Right.
upset. Like I'm like, oh yeah, he died. I'm like, that sucks, you know.
Yeah.
But it was also, I think, guilt he had, you know,
Mm.
like he left him like a murderer, like
On
just
the
live on the
streets.
streets. Yeah,
Yeah,
you
that's
know,
the opposite of what cops do or should be doing. I just say,
yeah. But it's also like what's
cops,
right and what's, you know, what's ethically right and what's legally right.
right?
That type of moral dilemma. But yeah, man,
Mm.
this ending was freaking epic. This was the ending I was expecting in Malignant. I gotta say,
Ah, I swear.
you know,
Yeah,
and yeah, but it was very, very well done at the end. I thought it was so good, like a good twist. Yeah, I don't know. Any other like spoilerly things?
no, I said from what I
Yeah,
remember. I just when we find out about the landlord is when it did it for me. I was like, wow. It was the last like I was left in shock after I left the theater. I was like, bro, like I can't even right now. The old
yeah,
lady, really her? She was gangster? Okay.
yeah.
And she just ruthless, like just acted on instinct. When you've been through that trauma so many times, you start to like piece together like how to not be the victim, and in this case, start to be the predator. And it's almost like the whole Batman quote, like you either live yourself to be how does it go?
You die the
You
hero, or live yourself, or live
live
long enough
long.
to see yourself become the villain.
There you go. That pretty much that's
Yeah,
what it was. Whew.
yeah. That's exactly what it was. Um, yeah, yeah. It was so good, man. That was really good. Um,
Want to do
cool.
some reviews?
Yeah, you want to do? Let's do our official reviews. All right, go for it, man.
All right, so here at the Nerd Huddle, us spoiler kings, Tank and I, we like to review movies either one of three ways. We're either going to rate it a watch now, a watch later, or a watch never. So if it's a watch now, that means you got to drop everything you got to do and prioritize this movie and watch it ASAP. If it's a watch later, it's, really not priority. Put it on the back burner and you can watch it another time. A watch never means that we rate this movie so bad that it does not deserve your time. How do you rate it?
Ooh, I'm gonna give this one a now. I'm gonna give this one a now. It is well written, well paced. You love the characters. The ending is amazing. Um, yeah, it's just such a well done, scary thriller, time travel-y kind of movie. I mean, this is like Edgar Wright at some of his best. I mean, Edgar Wright really, really nailed it with this one. So yeah, I'm giving it a now, man. Go. I know Eternals is coming up, but if you want to watch something else besides Eternals, I would highly recommend going to watch Last Night in Soho. It was very well done. What about you, man?
So, yeah, my name is Will, and I rate Last Night in Soho a watch now as well. Just for the simple fact that this is a dark, dark Hannah Montana movie. Disney ain't got shiznit on this. Okay, so this was so deep and so dark, and some of the reveals and jump scares. This movie had jump scares. That tickles a funny part of my bones when the movies can like get me out my seat. So I love that the movie was able to do that for me, and just the writing, the casting, the accents. I'm a big sucker for accents, so that was just just the cherry on top of this movie. So I definitely recommend watching this, and as you watch it now, would I watch this movie again? I don't know. You tell me. Would you watch this movie again?
Oh, definitely, definitely. I don't know if I'll go to the theater and watch it again, but when it comes out for like streaming and I'll probably buy this one, digital and stuff like that. So I will definitely watch it again, for sure. Just not probably not in theaters.
You know
But
what?
yeah.
That's so funny. You couldn't have said it better myself. So yeah, I want to watch it again, but I think I paid my respects at the theater. I'd rather wait till it comes to streaming, and I will purchase it just because it was that good of a movie that I do want to watch it again. Just let me watch it on my little 65-inch, and take care of it at home.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah, this one's definitely gonna be in my my digital library. I really don't buy movies anymore. The only movies I buy are the Marvel movies. Everything else I get on digital.
There you go.
This one for sure I'm getting on digital. But yeah, definitely rewatching it. Let's see. So what we got for Rotten Tomatoes? So the tomato meter got it at 75%, and then the audience has it at 92%. So the audience,
Ooh.
like me and you, we loved it. The critics kind of gave it, what is that, like a C? You know,
Yeah, it's fair.
yeah, it's still good. Let's see what some of the critics gave it. So Movie Freak, Sarah Michelle Fetters, top critic. She gave it a 2.5 out of 4, which
Ooh.
is technically a bad rating. She goes,
Yeah.
it's like watching mannequins sprint to and fro, which I was like, while they look magnificent, doesn't mean that I cared much about what was happening or the solutions hiding within time traveling puzzle box where they were going.
Puzzle box. That wasn't that much of a.
I don't agree with that. That you don't care about what's happening. I'm like, I really cared about what was happening. It was very,
Yeah.
like visually, it was very visually appealing. Like going to the 60s and seeing all the cool dresses that the women were wearing, and all the men wearing the suits and stuff. All the music and stuff like that. So here we go. Here's a good one. A top critic from Rolling Stone said, Wright gives you such a heady, intoxicating recreation of the historical UK culture kaboom that even when he and co-writer Christy Wilson pull the rug out from under the viewers, you can still feel the pull of those 60 sequences. Yeah, I can see that. Definitely got the rug pulled out from under us. That was for sure.
Yeah, it caught me off guard.
Yeah. Somebody else has said messy and occasionally frustrating film. I don't know about messy, but the frustrating I can get because it does get a little confusing on like, wait, who's who, what? But after the first few times they do that, you kind of figure it out. You know what I mean? It's like when she's not wearing her Dre Beats, she's in the 60s. It's like it was obvious.
Pretty much, yeah, right.
Yeah,
she did have Dre Beats. That's funny as hell.
yeah.
They didn't bother censoring that.
Yeah. And then we got one more bad one. Said the Last Night in Soho was a grand and gorgeous mess in the name of ambition. I don't know. Said it was his. Somebody said it's Wright's most personal film. You can feel how much he loves the material. Frankly, I feel the same way, and I do too. I thought it was super, super awesome. Somebody said it's not scary, and he never bought into it. That was from J Movie.
Okay, was he having a bad day? Did you wake up on the
Yeah, seriously, because I thought it was scary. It did have the jump scares, like you said, but it also had like good, just regular scares, like old school fashion, like chasing you kind of scares. Like Freddy Krueger's down the corner scare, too, which I enjoy that. I mean, there's the whole alley scene where she's running, and you have Jack and the ghost kind of chasing her and stuff like that. It was cool. How do we become a verified audience? That's what I want. We need the Spoiler King to be verified critics on Rotten Tomatoes.
We can make this happen. If anybody out there, if any popcorn vendors want to sponsor us, hey, we're for it.
Yeah, right. But yeah, some of the audience, amazing movie. She was spectacular. Plus the music and the suspense. Agree. Must watch. That is all that needs to be said. No words. Absolutely stunning. Fun, original, and entertaining. Everything you expect from an Edgar Wright film. True. Very true. Edgar Wright likes to be original, entertaining, and he likes to be a lot of fun. Yeah, I mean the critics were kind of like okay about it, but the audience, 92% loved it. So I'm right there with them with that.
Same.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Yeah. So we're both giving it a now. Telling you guys to
Yep.
go give it a watch, go check it out. Um, Enjoyed it, man. Got some scary dudes. You know,
I
there's a reason why
saw.
their faces are all jacked up too. Which is cool. Cool.
Probably because
Yeah,
Sandy
man.
carved them faces like a jack o' lantern.
Yeah, I did. It's like, clack. Super cool, man. I enjoyed it. And perfect time is Halloween. It should have came out 2 weeks ago. So you had like the week before Halloween and Halloween. So now you're a little bit past Halloween. I mean, you should still see it. It doesn't need to be around Halloween, but I think it was just a perfect time of year to see something like this.
Hey, you know what? I want to start a new segment. I'm going to ask you a question real quick. From the antagonist of this movie, do you think, since I got my Dead by Daylight shirt, do you think the antagonist of this movie, which in this case, it kind of would be Sandy, you think she could be a Dead by Daylight killer? Does she have what it takes to be a serial killer that can go against 4 survivors on any number of horror maps?
I can see something like that. I can see her having like a cool seduction thing where it kind of like puts you in a trance, or like you like you know, something like she sings, or like, you know, singing and dancing like all like 60 styles that she was doing with the arms flailing.
Funny as hell.
I would see something like that, and then as soon as she comes close, wham, you know, like you know, stabs you. That'd be pretty cool.
I can see that happening because,
cool.
like, honestly, to be a killer in Dead by Daylight, you don't necessarily have to have supernatural powers. You don't necessarily have to be, you know, super sadistic. One of the most recent killers in the game his name is the Trickster. He looks like a Walmart value brand version of Jared Leto's the Joker. I swear he does, bro. He looks like
even more bootleg.
Even more bootleg. Yes, exactly. Yes. So he's like a Korean pop singer, and he's a killer. And he's really just anime guy, and they found the right, you know, niche that they needed to kind of reel in some more fans, at least for fans overseas, and did a great job sales wise. So yeah, this guy, he's just a music producer or like a music singer, and he turned into a killer. So anyone, you know, there's no one that can be left out when becoming a killer, and I find that Sandy is no different. I will have times I'm gonna revisit this question time and time again. If I see that there's like a big antagonist where I'm like, are they DVD worthy? I'm gonna ask you for this one. I want to say yes, she could be. I kind of imagine from what you just said too, the whole piggybacking off of, like, you know, seduction. Like, what if she had a whole like Sonya Blade from Mortal Kombat where she like blew some like pink smoke, like, and it just like, you know, hits your nose and it kind of brings you in seduction wise. She could do something like that. Who knows?
Yeah, I can see something like that, because I mean that it kind of goes with the character too. You know, she wanted to be a dancer and singer, and she was being used against her, kind of thing. So you know, you can take that, and then like at the end, she like got her revenge for being, you know, taking what she loved and use it against her. She got her revenge. So I can see something like that. That'd be pretty cool. You know, imagine it's like a blonde chick with pink, you know, floaty robe, you know, running around the map. That'd be pretty cool.
A blonde 70s chick where she she throws, which we already have a killer like that in the game. His name is the Clown. He throws little like cocktails, little fucking cocktails, alcoholic cocktails. He throws them and they explode and turn into like pink smoke, but they're really like alcoholic drinks, and it's just so funny because he's trying to get you fucked up. Like, what a weird clown. But yeah, I would imagine she could do something like that too. She can throw some her own type of cocktails that are like love potions or something. Who knows?
Yeah. Super cool, man. Super cool. Actually, it reminded me right now, you wanted to throw that new segment in, which I love that, man. I'm all down for that, man. If we find a good killer, I'm down for, like, hey, you know, would he fit in this game? But I did have another thing that's like really not like related to that. But any recommendations that you just saw, either Netflix, Hulu, TV, that you want to shout out real quick?
When you say suggestions towards what exactly?
Any to watch, any movies, TV shows.
Any movies that I think you should watch right now. You know what?
Or that you're watching right now.
I'm not watching anything right now. The last thing I was watching, and I don't even know why I was watching it, was Squid Game. It was really big and trendy. Squid Game died out all of a sudden, man. I don't hear anybody talking about it
It did
anymore.
die down.
And then right
I'm gonna
now,
talk about that.
another one, nice. Another one is the show You. If you haven't finished it yet, it's definitely interesting. It's nice to watch with your significant other. If you like crazy, psychotic suburban folks acting, out of character, out of pocket, yeah, this is one for you. No pun intended. But no, for real. I think the show You, is something I would recommend that I'm trying to stay on top of, but I haven't even caught up to all episodes. What about you, man?
No. So going to what Erica said, real quick, Maya and the Three. We just finished watching that. It's on Netflix. It's made by the guy who made Book of Life. If you ever watch Book of Life and you like the animation style, you never seen Book of Life?
I have not seen Book of Life. I know.
Oh, dude, you gotta watch that. You watch it. It's really good.
I know.
It's really, really good. I think Coco is better, but they're a little different. But it plays the whole Day of the Dead type of thing. Really, really good. Animation was really good. I forgot the director and the creator name. But he's the same art style and everything like that. It's on Netflix, and it talks about like the Mayan, like this story, so it's them versus these ancient gods and stuff like that. It's animated. It's kind of for kids. Short series. I think it's like 10 episodes. Super good. Loved it. There you go. Jorge Gutierrez. He's the guy who created Maya and the Three and stuff like that.
So when you say 10 episodes, how healthy are these episodes? Are they 30-minute episodes or are they 45-minute episodes? Or the 22 or whatever.
No, I think they're like, I want to say around 35, 40-minute episodes.
I like that. Okay, cool.
Yeah, cool. I mean, they're made for kids, tweens, But yeah, it was very, very well done. It gets into a lot of death, so that's why I don't know for like a kid, But it's kind of like not too bad. It's not like random death. It's like, oh, this person died, and it might be a good conversation like everyone dies kind of thing. But it does go in underworld and stuff like that. So, but super well done. And then I also watched, so that one's for more like kiddie kind of stuff. You can probably watch it with your kids. There's one on Netflix called Inside Job, another animated show that is not for kids. Alex Hirsch is an executive producer. Alex Hirsch is one of my favorite freaking guys out right now. He did Gravity Falls. He wrote it and directed and created it. He's just an executive producer on this. This one is about the secret organization that is secretly running the country, so it's like even deeper than the Illuminati. So it's very funny. Bobby Lee is a voice in it.
Wow. Okay.
There's a general who volunteered for this experiment, so he's half dolphin now. And his last name happens to be Dolphman.
Oh wow!
It's so stupid and that's so funny. Silly. I have the last episode. It's only the first season. I don't know if they're gonna do any more. Same thing. They're only 10 episodes and they're about 45 minutes long. I gotta watch the last episode. But I highly recommend that one. That one is not for your kids. There's a lot of drugs, a lot of sex, a lot of cursing. Not kid friendly.
When you said Inside Job, I immediately jumped to the idea of a 9/11 spoof or something. I don't know why.
Kind of.
You said Inside Job.
Yeah, they have a 7-Eleven. There's this market, a food court in this secret organization that's Cognito Company. That's the name, which is so stupid. Wow. That's the cover up. Yeah. And but they have this food court, and one of them, the place is like a 7-Eleven, but it says 9/11 on it.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
They went there, huh?
Yeah, it's very, very very stupid, very all the stupid conspiracy theories. They make fun of those, flat earth, Buzz Aldrin was never on the moon. So they get into very, very silly, stupid things. Super funny. I love that show. So I recommend put Maya and the 3 on during the day, and then once the kid goes to bed or kids, switch over to Netflix, or they're both on Netflix. And Inside Job.
Sweet.
Inside Job. And Bobby Lee, I love Bobby Lee, man. Bobby Lee is one of my favorite. Tiger Belly, his podcast. I watch it every single week. I love him. So and when I found out he's a voice in it, and it's by Alex Hirsch, that was a double whammy for me. So
that was good.
I was super good. So there's some recommendations from us this week. But yeah, man, that is it this week. So no giveaway this week, unfortunately. No code. I wasn't able to get any codes this week. But next week for sure, we're gonna do a code giveaway. But yeah, man. Anything else before we head out?
No. That was it, man. I'm gonna try to get some sleep.
Yeah.
This job. I'm just 2 more days away from my big test. After that, it's all downhill. It's just me selling, and I no longer have to prove myself. So
yeah.
Can't wait for that. Nice. Can't wait for that. After Wednesday, I should be a brand new man.
Yeah.
More. I can't wait.
Like a weight lifted
more
off
composed.
Your shoulder.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, during that probation period always sucks. You're always like trying not to mess up and be good.
Yeah.
But, cool, man. Well, good luck with that.
Thank you.
Next week we'll get some good news. But next week we're coming back live, and we're doing the Eternals, the new MCU movie. I've been avoiding all the spoilers. Variety put a big spoiler out, like they ruined the post-credit scenes. I avoided that.
Ooh, I don't even know about that. I'm glad.
Variety of all places.
Yeah, I'm kidding. Yeah,
yeah, but so I because I want to go in and I want to have my own opinion on it, because I know people can be very down on some of the Marvel movies.
For sure.
We're talking about that next week. Hopefully, maybe we'll get Brian and Martin or whoever else wants to come hang out with us. But yeah, that's it from us this week. Make sure you subscribe to all of the Nerd Huddle guys down here. Links are in the description. Give everyone some love. We're having super fun on Sundays and Thursdays. We had our candy draft. Our Halloween candy draft, that was super fun. So make sure you come over and give everyone some love. We're all the big family over here at Nerd Huddle. And new show on Friday, a basketball show. So we're still doing that. That's not on the schedule though. But that's it from us this week. And we will see you guys next week. Later.